I'm doing some corbels. This is a restoration. These are the ones that we're replacing. They're in Douglas Fir. This is the template that I made for them off of the old one. The new one, we're using a redwood, and the redwood is repurposed from an old bridge. So this redwood is over 100 years old, and it's being repurposed into these corbels. So I needed to shorten the design a little difference in dimension. I'm hand carving these corbels. I have a super jaws that I hold it. When I take a new piece to carve, one of the things that I want to do is check the density. In checking the density, what I'm doing is I'm weighing each piece. Each piece is manufactured to exact dimensions, so I can compare easily the weight from one to another. This piece here, I'm looking at it as 21.26 pounds. Other ones that I've carved are ranging from, this was the lightest one so far, I've got up to 29.6 pounds. They're just about 8 pounds difference. The thing that I'm finding though is the soft ingrain. Most of the time on the softer woods, the lighter woods, it is harder to carve the ingrain. All of this that I'm carving here is going to be ingrain. The weight of it really doesn't matter because I have to carve them all. But the thing is that I'm just kind of trying to learn about the density, and I'm finding that even some of the lighter ones carve easier on the ingrain, even though they're a little softer wood than some of the heavier ones. So I'm not really finding any relationship between the ones that are 29 pounds and the ones that are 21 pounds. So what I have to really watch for is on the ingrain, so when I'm carving this, not to open the grain up. So my chisels, normally I have a pretty stout angle on the chisels. The chisels are normally sharpened to 29 degrees. I have lowered the angle to cut down on the drag to where I'm sharpening at about a 15 degree. So the first thing I did is I make a template. Then I match up the template. The new ones, the wood is just slightly shorter here, so I have to make a new template. So this is the new template that I compensate for that shorter length. These are the ones that are carved, and the models that I'm replacing are on the floor there. This redwood is highly protected. These redwood beams came out of a bridge that was torn down. The bridge was up over 100 years. We've repurposed the wood and are using it on this job. The wood looks brand new because redwood holds up very well in the weather. So these should last over 100 years, where the Douglas Fir ones hold up good in weather also. After 100 years, they look pretty well worn out. The redwood has been roughed out so it will kind of fit the pattern. So I just have to round the areas. So what I do is I take the template and I line it up on the redwood, draw the pattern, and I do this to both sides. I connect them here in the front using a square and also on the top. Carving with chisels and mallet, a very good way to do this. So I take a tool that's shaped like a V, it's called a V tool, and I go across and make a stop cut so I don't remove any of this stock below. This is the area I want to carve up here. I don't drive it out the end because I'll push the fibers out, so I have to come back in this direction. And I'm taking it down to that line, so I need to make another cut. This is a number 3 gouge. It's got a very little radius in here, so it's almost flat. And that's what I use to make this contour. So it's right up to the line, follows the line. And I do that all the way across. And I smooth it up. This area here falls below the surface. So, and there's a curve that goes in here. And then there's also an angle right here. I'll do this angle here first. So I'm cutting the profile all the way across. Now to get this dip in here, this number 3 chisel is too straight to do this curve, so I will get another gouge. This here is a number 8. So the number 8 is the sweep, so it's a tighter radius, and that will fit this radius here. Before I remove any of the side, I need to take my dividers and measure the exact center to do a center line. And now I can take off the side. So I have another template. That gives me this curve. Taking the same V-tool that we did to go across the front, I will do the stop cuts here in the side because we want to take this part in and I want to protect this area. Now back to the number 3 chisel that we used for this curve. Because it's so flat, I can flatten out this area here then. Just smooth it up by pushing it by hand. Now the design on this front edge kind of rolls in, and I will make that cut right now. The top of this is rounded, so I'm going to get another template. That's going to give me the right curve. This is the same V-tool I just did this cut with. Now I'm going to start making that V-cut deeper and bring it around to carve that rounded top. Rounding this off. Now it's back to that number 3 chisel that we've been using, and I'm going to use it inverted so it's like this, and I'm going to round the back of it.